Dusty Baker, the manager of the Reds, trying to make sure that his club stays in the race in the National League Central Division. Well, this certainly will help down to your final out. Brandon Phillips. We said he was public enemy #1 in St. Louis. He's added to that resume. Walk-off winner. His 9th home run of the season, 51st RBI, and a huge win for the Cincinnati Reds. We're at the Great American Ballpark on a warm evening. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals in Game 2 of their 3-game series. And along with Al Rabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. By and large, last night we saw the bullpen do a pretty good job.
Well, they really did. They had a tough assignment. It looked like everyone came out of there unscathed. It didn't go the way you wanted it to go, but we should have enough fresh arms to help Carpenter out tonight.
And let's hope that Chris Carpenter can go deep in this game. He's on the cusp of a couple of milestones in St. Louis Cardinals pitching baseball history. We'll talk about that when we come back. And also Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo, always tough on St. Louis. A look at those righties when we come back. There's a look at pitching coach Brian Price talking to his squad before batting practice here at the Great American Ballpark. Let's meet your starters. It's a pair of right-handers for the Cardinals. Chris Carpenter, he needs just one strikeout to tie Jesse Haynes for 5th all-time among Cardinals pitchers, 8 to tie him with Matt Morris for 4th place at 986. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bronson Arroyo gets the start, and in his last 2 starts before the break, one of those came against the Cardinals, 13 earned runs in just 11 innings, so he needed the break. He said both physically and mentally. We'll see how he looks here tonight. We've got baseball coming up. Brandon Phillips, the hero from last night. Who could be a hero tonight for the Cardinals? We'll talk about that when we come back. Edging closer to our first pitch. The banks of the Ohio, the Great American Ballpark. Cardinals and Reds in game number 2 of their 3-game series. 2 players that may have success tonight against Bronson Arroyo, both in the lineup for Tony La Russa. Matt Holliday, who's batting .325 this year with the 14 home runs. He has 2 home runs in his career against Bronson Arroyo. Tony La Russa has mixed up his lineup again tonight. Pitcher batting 8th, Skip Schumacher, drops down to the 9th spot. He is 15 for 41. And only 5 strikeouts against the right-hander of the Cincinnati Reds. Bronson Arroyo with our first pitch when we come back. It's your home of the Cardinals all season long, Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Another big crowd here at the Great American Ballpark. It was a sellout last night, and they were treated to a walk-off win. And here this evening, they're looking to make it 2 wins in a row over the Cardinals. And a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Tony La Russa, Daniel Descalso, John Jay, and Albert Pujols. Matt Holliday, Lance Berkman, David Freese, Yadier Molina, Chris Carpenter, and Skip Schumacher against the righty Bronson Arroyo.
Well, Bronson always has trouble with the home run ball. He leads the league in that department. You don't want to chase his high fastball. He'll pop that pitch up, and he won't challenge you, but it's on the corners. He keeps everything out of the middle.
And there's a strike into Daniel Descalso. Getting the start at shortstop tonight, batting .261, 1 home run and 25 RBIs. It's 83 degrees here at the Great American Ballpark. We did have rain a couple of hours ago, but they had the tarp on the field. They pulled that around 4:45, and then both teams were able to take batting practice on the field here in Cincinnati. The 0-2 pitch as Arroyo drops down, is fouled back by Descalso. And as we've seen so many times in his career with Bronson Arroyo, different pitch angles, very good as far as switching up his speeds.
He'll invent a pitch, whatever he needs to do to give you a different look.
The 0-2 pitch, trying to elevate it. We've seen that where a lot of teams, if they get ahead in the count on Descalso, especially 2 strikes, will elevate their pitches. 1-2 the count on Daniel. Outfield is straight away. It's fouled into the seats down the left field line.
How about Tony? He had a lot of chances to put in a lot of different players. Big numbers against Arroyo.
And yet Arroyo has been okay against the Cardinals in his career. He's now in his 6th season here in Cincinnati. And last year he was a 17-game winner. He went 17-10 as the Reds won the division. And the one thing that he has done with the Reds, he has been an innings eater. Every year he has been above 200 innings. Last year at 215. A 2-2 pitch. Rowland going out and makes the catch. Scott Rowland, 8-time Gold Glove winner at third base for the Cincinnati Reds. Let's meet the defense of the Reds here this evening. Behind Arroyo, and this is presented by Dobbs, Heisey, Stubbs, and Bruce in the outfield. Rowland, Renteria, Phillips, and Votto on the infield, and it's Arroyo and Ryan Hannigan. That's presented by Dobbs. John Jay gets the start in center field. A .302 average. He's hit 7 home runs and driven in 22. Outfield is straight away. Ripped into right field. Bruce on the move. He won't get it. Drops in for a base hit. 1-out hit for John Jay. In steps Albert Pujols, who nearly had 2 home runs last night, and Jay was able to pull this into right.
Mislocation is supposed to be away. John Jay hits everyone well, but particularly the Reds.
So Pujols first inning last night, Heisey was in center. He's in left tonight. Took a home run away, and then there was no way he was going to get the next one as he drilled a 2-run homer off Aroldis Chapman. So 19 home runs on the year. He's driven in 52. Ground ball, double play ball. Rowland stays down on it enough. Double play. There's a look at Dusty Baker hidden behind that pole in the dugout. And Dusty now in his 4th year in Cincinnati. This is just hard-nosed baseball. Watch Phillips get taken out here by Jay. Doesn't say a word.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. Brandon Phillips, he can dish it out, but he also can take it. He took it like a man right there. And Jay was within his limits. He could still touch second base.
Now Drew Stubbs will lead it off for the Cincinnati Reds against Chris Carpenter. And Carpenter gets the high strike call. Underway here in the bottom of the 1st. Carpenter trying to go to 5-7 on the year. And last night we talked about how Stubbs, big concern for the Reds with him, the fact that he strikes out a lot. And Carpenter, as we mentioned moments ago, 1 strikeout away from Jesse Haynes on the all-time Cardinals list. Oh, 0-2 pitch. Pulled foul.
Dan, a lot of people don't know about Jesse Haynes, but he is a Hall of Famer. He's number 2 on the Cardinals all-time win list, and 3rd is Bob Forsch.
Carpenter 8 away from Matt Morris, and before the season is through, you would think that Chris Carpenter would go above 1,000 strikeouts wearing the birds on the bat. Jesse Haynes, 979 strikeouts in his career. And there it is. He ties Jesse Haynes. That's how we start the ball game for the Reds offensively, with a strikeout. Dusty Baker, let's take a look at his lineup. Stubbs, Edgar Renteria, and Joey Votto. Then Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, Scott Rowland, Chris Heisey, Ryan Hannigan, and Bronson Arroyo. That's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Edgar Renteria, what a terrific player and what a career he has had. The World Series MVP for San Francisco a year ago. Hit .412 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs against the Texas Rangers. You think about experience with Renteria. He's been to 5 league championship series and 3 World Series. Hits it the other way. It's pretty well hit. And this ball is a ground rule double. Hops over the wall. Renteria's aboard here in the first. Let's meet the Cardinals defense here in Cincinnati tonight for game 2. Holiday, Jay, and Berkman in the outfield. It's Freeze, Descalso, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield, and Carpenter and Molina. The battery that's presented by Dobbs, and a scouting report on 4 and 7, Chris Carpenter.
Well, he's always been very good against the Reds. He's got 12 wins. He's got to continue his dominance. Had a little setback last time out, but he won 3 games in a row, and now he's tied in strikeouts, 4th place with Jesse Haynes.
That's inside to Joey Votto, reigning MVP of the National League. He's hitting .326. 13 home runs, 56 driven in. Pair of hits last night, including a double and an RBI. The 10th Red to win the league's MVP.
Seen a lot of curveballs early in this game from Carpenter.
2 balls, no strikes, 1 out, runner at second base. Reds with that win last night pulled to within 3 games of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh percentage points in first place in the National League Central Division. It's the latest that they have been in first place in a season since 1997. And we'll see the Pirates at the end of this road trip. How about that? Pittsburgh in first place, latest in the season since 1997.
Great story for baseball. And as you said, the Cardinals can take care of their own business when they play them later this month.
2-1 pitch. Votto makes it 2-2 as he fouls it back. Tomorrow, good matchup with Jaime Garcia, Homer Bailey. One of the real concerns for the Reds this year has been their pitching. Can they stay healthy? Can they be consistent? Arroyo has not been what he was a year ago. Tonight's starter, Volquez, up and down for the minor leagues. Chapman has been inconsistent at best. Cordero has struggled lately, so they have been looking for pitching. Cardinals probably out there looking for pitching. You wonder who isn't looking for pitching.
Nobody.
Here's a 3-2 pitch inside to Votto, and it brings in Brandon Phillips. First walk of the ball game by Carpenter. Fan favorite Brandon Phillips. Last night, that home run gave Salas his 3rd blown save in 19 opportunities, and a walk-off home run for Phillips. They had so many dramatic wins a year ago, and the talk at the ballpark today was, is that the kind of game that gets the Reds going again?
Well, no doubt about it. And it was unlikely. You watch a game, you have a feel, you kind of think that, okay, this could happen, but that one just totally shocked me.
Runners at first and second with 1 out. And a 1-0 pitch to Phillips. And this guy has been a pressure player. They say that when there's a big moment to be had, he might be the best in this lineup. He might be the guy that you want up there. And he delivered last night. Phillips with his 9th home run. And he now has 51 RBIs. He said he was thinking about doing a Pedro Serrano from the movie Major League and running around the bases. Yeah, and carry the bat.
Aussie flip. I think he did it the right way.
2-1 the count.
One of the reasons why you say he may be the guy you want up there is because he is enough of a professional. If he does not come through, he can just, be disappointed and look forward to the next night.
2 balls, 1 strike on Phillips. Right down the middle, 2-2. Notice when Phillips comes to the plate now, there's no tapping on the shin guard of Yadier Molina. It's all business. Just digs in. They don't say anything to each other. really don't even look at each other. There's no need to after what we saw last year. 2-2 the count. Got him with the curveball, and Phillips, no argument, he knew it. Nasty breaking ball from Chris Carpenter. Second strikeout in the inning, second in the game.
So we've noticed he's got a sharp breaking ball. A lot of times he'll use the cutter, he'll use the fastball early in the count and save that curveball for later. But he's breaking it out early.
So 2 outs and 2 on. And this is Jay Bruce in right field. 1 for 4 last night. All-star this year. 1 of 4 for the Cincinnati Reds. Outfield deep and straight away. You don't see many outfielders play shallow in this ballpark. It carries, it jumps out of here, and really the only one that comes to mind is Edmonds.
We've seen some great outfield plays and robbed home runs, but Jim Edmonds always believed there was more hits in front of him than over his head.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. This is in. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs in the last 6 games for Jay Bruce. Walt Jocketty has locked up his young talent, and this is one of the guys that they gave a long-term deal to. Pull to the first baseman Pujols. He'll underhand to Carpenter, and the Reds strand 2. No score after 1. And this is a look at our Toyota keys to the game this season. Bronson Arroyo, 18 starts, record of 7-7 against the Cardinals, 7-11, even though the Cardinals have only hit .272 against him. That's a look at our Toyota keys to the game.
Came over from Boston back in '06, and he takes the ball every 5th day, right there with the league leaders in innings pitched.
Willie Mopena. He was part of that deal that brought Arroyo to Cincinnati, and it's hard to believe, but this is his 6th season already.
And I just saw a transaction where Willie Pena was released or put on waivers.
Correct. Roland to his left, and he makes the play. Had a chance to visit with Lance Berkman before the game and asked him about Bronson Arroyo.
Thing about facing Bronson, I mean, he just knows what he's doing out there. He's a great pitcher, you know, and you can't try to think with him because he's got so many different ways to get you out, and he's very crafty, smart, and you know, it's always a challenge whenever you face him.
Lance Berkman, gotta love his demeanor, his honesty with the media, way he keeps it light in that dugout in the clubhouse with the Cardinals, and certainly has had just a tremendous year. As far as visiting players, he's the all-time leader in home runs at this ballpark. 22 for Lance Berkman.
And Albert chasing him.
He's the first St. Louis switch hitter with 20 home runs since Mark Whitten at 25 back in 1993. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out, nobody on, and David Freese on deck. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well.
We often talk about Bronson almost inventing pitches to get you out, and a hitter almost wants to, you know how they always want to look for the release point. You'd almost like to have somebody say, okay, now open your eyes. Try and find it when it's on coming at you.
1-2 pitch. Berkman fouls it back. Cardinals with so many decisions coming up between now and the trade deadline of what direction they want to go, and they have put themselves in a position that you would think that John Mozeliak and his team would take a hard look at improving the club if they can, but also it goes beyond this year as Berkman chipped his bat. Bat boy will give him a new one, but that means thinking about certainly the biggest name out there, which is Pujols, and where he fits into the budget next year and how you make that work. But Lance Berkman is right there with him. Skip Schumacher is another decision the club has to make. You also have the option on Wainwright. There are a ton of decisions that
Carpenter, Wainwright.
Yeah, that John Mozeliak will be taking a look at. 2-2 here on Berkman. Went 0 for 3 last night. 18th road home run for Berkman last night, which leads all of Major League Baseball. Shoots it the other way. This may drop in for a base hit, and it does. Right in front of Chris Heisey. Little blue base hit for Lance Berkman. Cardinals with their second hit of the night.
Well, that ball is slicing away from the left fielder, but our Exmo Cam has a tire auto service. Kind of give you an idea. Look at the rotation of the ball. Going to come off the bat, slice into the corner. Heisey played that very conservatively.
Ball did not move that far away from him once it dropped in. So here's David Freese. Freese with an RBI last night, also an error that led to a run. Arroyo, a pitch maker, was able to get a double play in the first inning. 5-4-3 off the bat of Pujols. David at .333 with 3 home runs, and he has driven in 19 on the year. Another injury-riddled season for David Freese. Ground ball left side. Renteria backhands to second and out. Edgar with a nice play on the backhand, and with 2 outs, it brings in Yadier Molina.
Still can play, can he?
Yes, he can.
Deep into the hole, stop your momentum, fire a strike to your second baseman, acting like your first baseman there on the force out.
The boos for Yadier Molina last night. 0 for 4 with an RBI. Did hit the ball hard, but nothing to show for it. Picked up an RBI with the ground out in game 1. And coming off his 3rd consecutive All-Star game appearance. So he doubled in his lone at bat against Chris Perez. Ground ball. Renteria to his left. Flips to Phillips. Cardinals strand a runner. And midway through 2, there's no score. Right now you can support Children's Hospital and buy $1 scratch-off tickets at Jack in the Box, Walgreens, and other retailers. Win free food, Cardinals tickets, Six Flags tickets, and other great prizes. All money benefits Children's Hospital. Carpenter back to work. The bottom of the 2nd rolls in. Scott Rowland, Chris Heisey, Ryan Hannigan for Cincinnati. Mentioned earlier in that play by Scott Rowland. He is an 8-time Gold Glove winner, 3rd most among any 3rd baseman in the history of baseball. And he hits this one a ton out to center. Jay is back at the wall, and he's got it. Rowland gave it a ride, but it's a long out.
Pretty casual right there by John Jay. Exactly where he was, right under the lip of the Reds bullpen, crashing in the wall, and a long fly ball out.
I was about to tell you, though.
Yes, I was listening, sir.
Brooks Robinson, 16 Gold Gloves.
Michael Jack.
Yep, he had 10, and then you have Scott Rowland at 8. Here's Heisey, the 1-0 pitch taken low and in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. Heisey coming off a huge game 1 last night. Pair of home runs. He's now up to 12. And let's give you a look at what he did here in game number 1. First things first, he took one away. That was off the bat of Scott Rowland. Then at the plate against Westbrook, he took him deep out to left. And then in the 5th inning, he did it again. Tony La Russa only kept Westbrook in that game for 5 innings. Descalso makes the play. Heisey can run. Nice play by Daniel Descalso.
It really was. Chris Carpenter, you can almost read his mind. Should I try to arc my body to get in front of that ball or let my defense take over? He did the right thing. and letting his shortstop come across. A do-or-die play, and Descalso does it with ease.
So 2 outs, and it brings in Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan, their catcher, splitting time with Ramon Hernandez, who we saw last night. And on the season, hitting .250 against the Cardinals, and overall 3 home runs, 19 driven in. No runners on and 2 outs. Al Raboski with us. Dan McLaughlin. We'll hear from Jim Hayes. We'll have an extended visit with Jim Hayes. Al recovering from neck surgery and gutting it out. But we should tell fans that you're feeling
much better.
Feeling much better. Good. That pitch taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a ground ball to Descalso. Gobbles it up at short and makes the play. So 1-2-3 inning for Chris Carpenter. How did he get the outs? It started with a deep fly out off the bat of Rowland. Then a ground out. Not once, but twice to Daniel Descalso to get Heisey, and then Hannigan. No score after 2. Cardinals Alumni Kids Clinics coming to Arnold on Tuesday, July 19th. Boys and girls ages 7 to 13 can learn baseball fundamentals from former Cardinal players. Visit cardinals.com/clinics to find out more. Al Raboski, Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you. There's a look at Tony La Russa as he's going head-to-head with Dusty Baker yet again. Carpenter batting 8th in this lineup. And Jim, we've seen a resurgence of sorts here with Chris Carpenter in the last month or so, haven't we?
Yeah, I was talking to one of the Cardinals about, the consistency that he has seemingly found, and they have a theory that it might be the games he worked with Tony Cruz. If you look back to where the numbers started to improve, it was a start with Tony Cruz. His next one, Cruz was a catcher, and it was a much better outing. And since then, Carpenter's been outstanding as we see him bounce to second. The thinking was with Molina, you have such a comfort zone that maybe as you're trying to find consistency, you have a young catcher, you put it on yourself, and maybe just by having that opportunity, things fall into place. Just a theory that was put out there.
How could Tony Cruz give you that story like that?
It was not Tony Cruz.
I just wasn't sure.
You think there's anything to that, Al? You take the comfort zone away, it's kind of all on you, and if it's not a physical problem, it's just mentally finding that consistency.
I do. I can believe in something like that.
So Tony Cruz was right. Oops.
You get so comfortable working with one individual that you and obviously Yachty is world class, and we all have the great respect for him.
But that's the whole point, is Yachty is so good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But all of a sudden, maybe you start disagreeing with him a little bit, and yet you're reluctant to call him off because he is this Gold Glove catcher.
Here is Schumacher. Takes a pitch high and outside. Skip in that 9th spot in the lineup. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cardinals with 2 hits tonight. Single by Berkman to left, and John Jay with a single to right.
If you look at that June 17th start where he was working with Cruz, including that game and since, Carpenter 3-1 with an ERA of 2.37. Now, could just be happenstance, but this is one theory floated out there I thought worthy of discussion.
Anything you bring up, Jim, is worthy of discussion. Here's a 2-2 pitch.
I want to say that Al is looking a lot better, and he sounds a lot better today. And looking at you, Al, honestly, I would not know that there is anything wrong with you. You look great.
Outside of the neck brace that is about a ½ foot wide. There's a swing and a miss by Skip Schumacher. First strikeout for Bronson Arroyo, and there's 2 outs. We're back to the top of the lineup, and Daniel Descalso. Bottom dropped out of the breaking ball there by Bronson Arroyo. Descalso tonight is popped out to 3rd. So 2 down, nobody on. Cardinal leadoff man who's playing at short tonight. It was Ryan Theriot last night. Went 1 for 4.
Tony says that Ryan will be back in there tomorrow. Descalso gives Theriot a breather. Just by the way, coming into the game, Descalso 4 for 5 career against Arroyo. Probably factoring in.
Looks at a strike on the outside corner. Scott Rowland is even with the bag at third, way off the line, and the outfield straight away. Slaps it the other way. It's a base hit for Descalso. Now 5 for 7 in his career against Bronson Arroyo, and it extends the inning to John Jay, who singled to right his first time up.
Nothing fancy. Pitch away with the pitch. It's a nice little piece of hitting, just making contact and guiding it through the hole.
So a 2-out base hit, and it brings in Jay. You get the feeling he may split some time down the stretch with Colby Rasmus. Colby really in a funk. And John Jay, seen him with a fine play already in center field tonight. Fly ball off the bat of Scott Rowland, and he singled to right.
Tony La Russa saying he wanted to give Colby the night off. He'll be back in there tomorrow. And the quote was about John Jay, we want to keep him alive, meaning he's been such a contributor, needs playing time.
Trying to stay sharp. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Competition brings out the best in players.
See, he's 5 for 12 against Arroyo. Arroyo from Key West, Florida. 6'4", 200-pounder. Mention the numbers that he's put together wearing the Cincinnati Reds uniform as far as innings are concerned. And Arroyo in his 3 of his 5 seasons with the Reds has been their Johnny Vandermeer Award winner, most outstanding pitcher. Named after Charles Bronson, the actor.
You get a little of his music for tomorrow?
We should look for it. He is a guitarist, and Bronson Arroyo learned to play the guitar when he was at AA, and he actually has had a couple of CDs that have been released, and at the time when he was with the Boston Red Sox briefly in different areas of Massachusetts where they released him, it was the #1 selling singles that he put together. He's done a lot of charity work with his band, and I know the Reds have been thrilled with what he's done in the community here. Was really a valuable guy for the '04 Boston Red Sox. He was a setup man. He was a long reliever. He gave them a spot start. And here in Cincinnati, he has been durable. 3-2 the count here on John Jay. So Descalso off with the next pitch. And he's also no stranger to the NL Central. We forget his time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll play behind Descalso. He gets a great jump. And the pitch is taken for a strike on the inside corner. Baseball is brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Casino. It's now open, a sports bar for everyone. And for all the reasons you invest, mutual funds from Goldman Sachs. Al Raboski, Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you. Here's Bronson Arroyo to lead it off, and looks at a strike. Reds a year ago behind the 17-game winner Bronson Arroyo, an MVP in Votto. Walt Jocketty was the GM of the year. Went 91-71, and they beat the Cardinals by 5 games in the division. Then were swept in the playoffs. Phillips and Rowland both were Gold Glove winners. And a swing and a miss. 3 straight fastballs by Carpenter. Arroyo down. 3rd strikeout. Follow Cardinals with MLB.com @Bat11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. You can get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @bat to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. One thing we have seen is we've talked about the resurgence, if you will, of Chris Carpenter. He goes deep into games, and you wonder if that played any role last night with Tony La Russa using as many relievers as he did, and the fact that all those guys were rested after the All-Star break.
Well, he said with Westbrook leading off the inning, they felt like they had to get to Cueto. They had an opportunity, so they pinch hit. It wasn't necessarily about what Jake was doing, and Tony did end up using his bullpen. He says everyone is available tonight. They're coming off the All-Star break, so they should be fairly fresh. And Dave Duncan said, actually, it might be a good thing in disguise that everyone got a chance to pitch, because you come off a break and you knock a little of the rust off.
A lot of breaking balls early on here by Carpenter. 2 balls, 1 strike on Stubbs, who struck out to lead things off for the Reds.
Carpenter, since he's found his groove, has actually been getting stronger as the game has progressed. And you talk about pitch count with Carpenter, he doesn't care what it is. And obviously Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan aren't afraid to extend Carpenter.
It's all about winning, and sometimes you have to go deeper into a ball game for that chance to win.
Just missed. 3-2.
Carpenter believes his physical conditioning is a big part of why he's able to go deep as he issues a free pass. I mean, you don't see many pitchers working as hard as on their conditioning as Carpenter does.
The Cardinals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Here's Renteria, doubled. First time up, he's 1 for 1.
And Dan, isn't that all tobacco, smokeless tobacco, Mr. Hayes?
Second walk issued by Carpenter. The check on Stubbs over at first. Pittsburgh, Cardinals, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati all within 3 games. Reds 3 games out, Milwaukee a half game back, St. Louis percentage points, and the Pittsburgh Pirates at 48-43 atop this division.
Perfect world. You get into late September and everyone still have a chance to win their division.
If you're a baseball fan, seeing Pittsburgh in it, it's kind of fun.
Yes, sir.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Renteria. Instead a check on Stubbs over at first. Normally right there, that shot Cincinnati and what they've done 3 games out is occupied by all the standings here at the ballpark for the National League Central, but not tonight, not currently. Renteria with some outstanding years in St. Louis. He was traded for Braden Looper, you might remember. The Cardinals picked him up from the Florida Marlins. He was part of that Marlins team that won a championship. Runner goes, slowly hit, freeze. Can't get it out of the glove. Pujols arguing, and it's an infield hit for Edgar Renteria.
Edgar moving in on 8,000 career at-bats.
Here comes Tony La Russa. He wants to have a word with the umpire. Mike Everett down at first.
Tony first got to the major leagues back in 79 with the White Sox. He would argue and argue and argue with umpires. Then when he came to the National League, I noticed and I said, "You've really changed." He said, "I learned. Can't beat him." can go out and make a case, but you really can't change your mind. But sometimes it's to protect your own player.
See, Freeze didn't quite have an initial grip on the baseball. Foxmo brought to you by Plaza Tire Service. Right there. So it's runners at first and second for Joey Votto. And it looked like he was out on the replay. Votto walked his first time up. Outfield is deep. Good speed at second base. Votto singles out to left field. Holiday charging. They're going to wave him in. Throw is cut off by Freeze. It's 1-0 Cincinnati. The walk to Stubbs comes back to haunt the Cardinals. And now it's Phillips. And the speed of Stubbs, no chance for Holiday.
No chance. And Votto just a good hitter that sprays the ball to all fields. Reds get first blood.
And it brings in Phillips with 2 runners on. Runners at first and second. Struck out looking his first time up. Carpenter has walked 2. He has struck out 3. You had a chance to visit with Brandon Phillips after the game last night.
Yeah, he got a fastball. He was looking for a curveball, kind of surprised him, but he said once he hit it, there was no surprise that it left the ballpark. But he was courteous and respectful. I don't know if that's necessarily what Cardinal fans would expect from Brandon.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Phillips. Carpenter goes to second. It's bobbled and safe. Bases loaded. It's an error on Carpenter, who's trying to get an explanation. No argument here from Tony La Russa. So Phillips, it could have been a sure out at first base. Carpenter trying to get that lead man.
Never had control. You got to get one. The easy one was the play in front of him at first base. Tries to keep the...
He may have been out there too. So bases loaded. It looked like he never even touched second base until his back rolled over it. Carpenter charged with the air. And now it's Bruce. Breaking ball and a strike. Take another look at it here. Did he ever touch second base?
Now. Guccione's looking at a lot of other things than that.
Inside, backing Bruce off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. A walk, infield hit. Solid base hit by Votto to left. Error on Carpenter on the ground ball by Phillips, and now the bases are loaded. The 1-1 pitch. Could be a double play ball. Descalso takes it himself. It's a double play. Oh, did the Cardinals need that? Reds pick up a run. We move to the 4th. Special events at Busch Stadium, celebrations, corporate meetings, conferences, and weddings. Whatever your occasion, make it unforgettable. Hosted at Busch Stadium. Visit BuschStadiumSpecialEvents.com to find out more, and it's time to create your memories at Busch Stadium. A 1-0 lead for Cincinnati. As Pujols is set to dig in to lead off the top of the 4th.
Cardinals by design went into this season sacrificing defense for more offense. But you can see they've struggled. 14 and 27 when they commit at least one error.
And a breaking ball start the inning, and that error tonight by Carpenter. That inning could have been a lot worse.
Reds, a much tighter defensive ball club. They're one game over 500 when they make an error.
Pujols pulls it foul. Game of adjustments, and has Pujols opened up his stance just a little bit.
Wasn't his first game back against Arroyo? And you kind of say he's the kind of guy that can put you back in a slump.
Waves at that pitch and strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Bronson Arroyo tonight. Pujols has bounced into a double play, and now that strikeout, and it brings in Matt Holliday.
Arms and legs and whip action coming all the way across and out of the strike zone.
And Holliday grounded out to third, his first time up. 3 hits aside in this game, and there's strike 1. Terrific numbers for Holliday this season. 5-time All-Star. Let's go back to the strikeout of Albert Pujols way out in front. And the third of the night for Arroyo. Jim, we were thinking about last night if the Reds would have tied that game and not won it. Tony La Russa was out of bullpen guys. He had used everybody. Salas was the last one. Our guess was Kyle McClellan, and it looks like that's the way he would have gone.
That's what Tony had said, and I was talking to McClellan about that, and also there's been a bunch of talk, something the Cardinals I know have discussed internally, about McClellan moving to the bullpen, and Kyle feels like, as we see the walk, that his next 3 starts will be very important in determining whether or not he's a starter. He feels he can be a very good major league starter. He'll do whatever the team wants, but he knows, in his own words, he's got to go out and prove it. And those next 3 starts, he says, will be the telling part of it.
I think there's another factor as well, with actually a couple. You think about Sanchez being gone. If Lynn is the guy in the 8th, that's certainly a role that McClellan can handle. Also, you never know about closing. We said that if Wainwright was healthy this year, McClellan very well could have been your closer at the beginning of the season after the struggles of Franklin. I know you have an update on him momentarily, but the other thing too about Kyle is that he can get lefties out, and the Cardinals with their 2 lefties have struggled in that bullpen. So there's a lot of reasons why you'd say it would make sense to move McClellan to the bullpen. Now he'll be the first to tell you he wants to start as Berkman lines to Phillips. But he'll also be the first to tell you, like you just said, I'll do what's best for the team.
And you also factor in that the Cardinals believe Kyle McClellan can be a very good major league starter, and obviously they're giving him that opportunity, but you have to see what is out there in terms of trade, in terms of bringing guys in and seeing how they can beef up the pitching staff and possibly the bullpen. But McClellan is a viable option.
Here's David Freese.
3 more starts kind of coincides with the trading deadline.
Yes, it does. So Freese bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Takes a ball a little bit high. And a 1-0 pitch to Freese. Take it inside with Molina on deck. Tomorrow it's Jaime Garcia, the lefty. Garcia be his 20th start of the season, his 2nd this year, and 6th of his career against the Reds.
He's got the new contract. Don't ask him about it. You'll have to do so in Spanish.
As you found out. And you did ask him in Spanish, correct?
Well, I had to do a little research. to find out how to say it.
Two and one the count with 2 outs.
Mucho dinero.
There is no paying for guests on the pregame show, Al. We have to pay salaries like yours and Dan's.
I said it. Talking about his contract.
Talking about,
A
yeah.
lot of money.
Come on, Jim. Get up to speed with Al.
I'm sorry, Al.
3 and 1 the count. Here's a 3-1 pitch inside to Freeze. Second walk in the game, the second in the inning. And in steps Yadier Molina.
You guys have talked about how Arroyo has struggled of late. 8 home runs he surrendered over his last 3 starts playing to this ballpark. You think at some point one of these Cardinals is going to send one into the stands?
Survived. I've surrendered 25 on the season. And he pitches, he elevates his pitches so much, those become fly balls. And in this ballpark, it can be explosive.
2 outs and 2 on. Reds lead by a run. Inside to Molina. Holiday is the runner at second base. Freeze at first. Those two reached via the walk.
Carpenter is on deck. Something the Reds are thinking about.
Yadi shoots one foul and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now what you're saying is may not be first base open, but third base is. Do you take your chances? Bases loaded with Carpenter.
And then maybe why Hannigan's going out right now and saying, hey, you don't have to be that fine. Fall behind the count. You don't just give in to a guy. You always have to respect anyone that's in that batter's box. Carpenter does have a grand slam in this ballpark.
Way off of first base. Joey Votto. Molina hits it in the air. Left center, Stubbs. 1-0 Cincinnati. Cardinals camp out presented by Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Boats is back Friday, August 19th. Come spend a night on the field under the stars at Busch Stadium. An evening filled with fun activities. For tickets, visit us online, cardinals.com/campout. 1-0 Cincinnati. Scott Rowland leads it off. It was a huge double play to end the third off the bat of Jay Bruce. The Reds have hit into the second fewest double plays in the National League. So very, very big off his bat. And Descalso showing a little range and definitely showing off the arm on that double play. Rowland fly to center field. First time up. A catch made at the wall by John Jay. 1 ball, 1 strike. Heisey on deck, and then Ryan Hannigan.
Rowland hasn't changed. You see him, and the first thing he says, biggest series of the year, right, Jim? Reds, Cardinals, fireworks, right? He thinks the media is always trying to play up the rivalry between these two teams.
2-1 pitch. Ground ball left side. Freeze. Stabs at it, but makes the play.
Did you get a hug from him this year?
Nope. He's no longer a Cardinal, so there are no hugs.
There's Chris Heisey grounded out to short.
Boy, a lot of loyalty to his friends, doesn't he?
One thing about Rowland, you know, there was a lot made obviously about his time in St. Louis, but he's a pretty funny guy.
Funny guy.
You wouldn't know it unless you're around him day in and day out. And obviously a lot of players respect him because he did play through injuries. He played hard all the time. Can't take that away from him.
And he still really likes St. Louis. He goes back from time to time. Loves Cardinal fans.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Little testy relationship at the end, but they have made up. And really, I compliment Scott Rowland because he's the one that really kind of initiated it once he got over here to the Reds.
Here's a 1-2 pitch, just missed outside, and it's 2-2. Well, Heisey multi-homer game last night. He already had one prior to the game, and that was against the Yankees. He had 3 home runs in interleague play in 1 game. Looks at a ball high. 3-2.
He became 27th franchise player for the Reds to hit 3 home runs. He had career high 3 home runs, 5 RBIs in that ball game, and then the big game last night. Excellent pinch hitter, trying to get more playing time.
A 3-2 pitch. Third walk issued by Carpenter. Here's Hannigan, who was grounded out too short. Eighth place hitter Ryan Hannigan. A muggy night here in Cincinnati after the rain. We understand the temperatures back home blistering. They start the runner, slowly hit, charged by Freeze, out. And they've got the runner hung up. Pujols throws to third. It turns into a double play. Heisey trying to be aggressive to go around second. Caught in no man's land. It's 1-0. This Missouri Moment is brought to you by the Missouri Division of Tourism. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. The world famous Gateway Arch, tallest national monument in the United States, 630 feet tall, and it commemorates the nation's western expansion. If you'd like to find out more, go to visitmo.com and plan a visit to go up into the arch.
Nice view from up there. I've been there.
And you could go downstairs too and see all the exhibits underground.
Well, here's a heads-up play by the shortstop tonight, Daniel Descalso. Once Freeze cut this ball off, he knew the runner may attempt to go from second to third.
Well, Descalso, now he breaks, he'll go to third, but where's Heisey doing? The runner, the Reds runner, Freeze gets out at first base. You're not going to fool Albert. He starts running at him. If he would have initially just kept on going to third base, he might have been safe. But he got about halfway and stopped and really ran into the out.
Descalso has done nothing but impress, particularly with his defense, no matter where they put him.
Well, I think he's shown that he wants to stay here, and to do that, he can play 3 infield positions. He actually told me that he played a lot of first base at the tail end of Memphis's season last year when Hamilton got hurt. So there's a 4th position. He's an emergency catcher if need be, and obviously has had some big hits.
And that's also faced it too. It's a lot easier for an infielder to go to the outfield in an emergency situation also.
Carpenter taps it foul 0-2.
We'll have to find out if he can pitch. Then he's really on my list.
He's the next Miles.
That's right. I'm still trying to replace Aaron.
You know who says he's got the full arsenal if they would allow him to pitch is Ryan Theriot.
Theriot before games as this popped up and out of play.
He'll throw a bullpen.
He throws with Yadi or Molina. He'll be the catcher for Yadi, and then they switch, and Yadi turns into a catcher for Theriot, and they're working on pitches.
He says he's got the curveball, the knuckle curve, fastball, everything you could want he could throw. Hopefully we won't see anything like that tonight.
The Raging Cajun's got to have a knuckleball.
You get a name like the Raging Cajun, you got to have something a little odd. Your repertoire. 0-2 here on Chris Carpenter grounded out to second, first time up, rips it into left center field. That ball will get down. It's extra bases. Carpenter on his way to second base, and it's a leadoff double. Leadoff double for Carpenter as we turn to our AT&T trivia question. Name the Cardinals player with the most home runs all time at Riverfront Stadium. One of your good buddies.
Yeah.
Yep. Ted Simmons with 11. Curious Case of Curt Flood. Watch that today on HBO. Al, how well did you know Curt Flood?
I did not know him that well. I got to know him after my playing career, and obviously we had a lot of links between Gibby and Brock and his teammates, but Curt was a real first-class individual. Every player out here should be down on their hands and knees thanking him for what he did for them.
1-0 pitch now to Skip Schumacher.
I saw that too, and basically as part of the story, the thanks he got was a necklace from who? Mike Torres. A lot of the players didn't really understand what he had done for them.
Well, a lot of players, kind of said, hey, I'm in support, but I'm going to be way back here. I know Gibby came in for the world premiere in St. Louis.
A 2-0 pitch taken for a strike by Schumacher. Yeah, Bob Gibson was prominently featured in the documentary.
That is not something Bob likes to do, but out of respect for Curt Flood, he felt it was his obligation to help out as much as he could.
Runner at second is Carpenter. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Schumacher. Rips it foul. Schumacher struck out his first time up.
And what we're, I guess in kind of a nutshell, talking about a player could sign a contract at age of 18, and he was linked to that club for life. There was no way getting away from the contract. They could put you on an involuntary retirement list, and really, some of the owners, and Mr. Bush was one of the best owners, and was very, very good to the players. But in order to have the collective power of the union, everybody had to unite. And I remember that after the first strike, Mr. Bush took it very personally that his players weren't going to strike. It was the Calvin Griffiths. It's the others that really treated their players poorly. And there was a period of adjustment for Mr. Bush to get back on page.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Schumacher. Doesn't chase. Descalso on deck. Curt Flood would wind up playing for Ted Williams and finishing up with Washington.
Basically, when he was traded, he was saying, hey, I played 12 years in St. Louis. I think I paid my dues. I don't want to go. I want to stay here. The option was basically banishment.
3-2 the count. It's a 1-0 Cincinnati lead on an RBI single by Votto back in the third. Three-2 is bounced to the right side. Phillips will fire to third, and they got him. Schumacher did get the ground ball to the right side, but Phillips, knowing who's running at second, heads up play.
Rocket, you can see the two veterans. Phillips knows that Carpenter's going to just run right there. Knows Sky is going to be right there ready for a tag, and a heads up play by the Reds.
Top of the lineup, Descalso. Check on Schumacher back in safely. Descalso is popped out to third and also single.
Arroyo's had pretty good command tonight. I suppose the balls are nice and slick to his liking.
Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way. Slapped foul and out of play.
You can only say that if you go get the shirt. The wimpy shirt.
But there's another shirt that someone gave to me. On the back, it's a Reds t-shirt. On the back it says Phillips. On the front it says I hate St. Louis too. There's some animosity that someone's trying to make a buck off.
0-2 the count here on Descalso. Fly ball out to shallow left. Heisey makes the catch. 2 outs, and it brings in John Jay, who was struck out and single.
Talk about Royal really pitches up a lot. Look at the catcher setting the sight way up there. Got a little guy. The only thing they're going to do is they're going to swing through it, pop it up, and just do exactly what Descalso did. Comes down, it's an out. That's throwing above the hitter's zone.
Jay trying to bunt his way on. Arroyo to first, and he threw it away. Did a fan touch it? I'm not sure if they did or not. Advancing Schumacher to third, and it brings in Albert Pujols. It's a base hit and an error on Arroyo, so both pitchers have committed errors here tonight, and it extends the inning to Albert Pujols.
Drops the bunt down perfectly. Arroyo almost lost his balance, got to it, but then the off-balance throw throws it away.
You know, Al, that's a lot of times people say that just passing the buck, but in this case you're passing it to Pujols. I'm not sure you mind that.
And I'm kind of glad that it did not go in the stands, leaving first base open.
Yeah. So a chance here for Albert. He's bounced into a double play, and he is also struck out. First pitch is a strike. Now the last at bat, Arroyo got Pujols to chase a breaking ball outside. A double play that Pujols bounced into, number 20 this year. Tony La Russa screaming at the home plate umpire about this strike zone. He was screaming after the first pitch strike to Descalso. He didn't like that call either. That's the pitch right there that Pujols chased in the previous at bat.
And Albert hit into that double play in the first. You said it was Albert's 20th and the club's 100th.
And again, the Reds bounced into the second fewest in the National League, although they have one here tonight. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
It looked like it could have been called a strike there.
Sure did. Dusty Baker now screaming at the home plate umpire. So he's hearing it from both sides. Calling balls and strikes tonight, Mike Winters. Pujols rips it out to deep left field. It is gone. Line drive, home run. 3-run shot for Pujols. I feel sorry for whatever fan caught that. That's a broken hand. An absolute laser off the bat of Pujols. This ball is crushed. Our Nissan drive of the game. It's a 3-run homer for Albert Pujols.
Didn't get a lot of trajectory, but it got into the stands quickly. And there's several broken hands.
Second consecutive night in this series with a home run. Now Holiday with 2 outs, nobody on. And that's hard hit. Phillips, what a play from his knees, and he gets Holiday. Cannot do it much better than that, either defense or offense from Albert Pujols. 1963, this date in baseball history. Curt Flood and Ken Boyer each hit a home run. Tim McCarver drives in the winning run in the 10th, beating the Reds 5-4. Snooks this date in baseball history. Tim McCarver also part of that documentary on HBO as you get a look at Pujols, who has given the Cardinals their first lead of the night. Carpenter deals a strike to Arroyo. Underway, Reds half of the 5th. And he pops it up. Out of play.
We said that Carpenter, since he's gotten into this groove, has gotten stronger as games have progressed. You know, the Cardinals want him to hold serve here.
0-2 pitch, right down the middle, strikeout.
Here's your help.
Carpenter with his 4th of the night. FoxSportsMidwest.com, your home for exclusive Cardinals coverage. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest Cardinals updates. It's at FoxSportsMidwest.com. If you missed some of the interviews or features that Jim does, you want to see Tony La Russa's post-game comments, you can find it on the website. Here's Drew Stubbs, who has struck out and walked and scored. Fights it off. That's a base hit. Now he can really run on his way to second base. And he'll stop there. 1-out double. Jim, we were talking about the bullpen before, but you had an update on Ryan Franklin. Did you get a look at Stubbs fighting off that pitch?
Just a little text conversation with Franklin, who said he's enjoying being away from the stress and being with family and trying to clear his head, which is what the Cardinals wanted for him anyway. And he said he's leaning toward retirement, but no decision yet. For the time being, he's going to relax and weigh his options and mostly spend time with family. He's with his wife in Seattle tonight as the Mariners are honoring their 2001 team. So he's doing some family activities.
Good for him.
Yep. Swing and a miss by Renteria. That was the team that won what, 116?
115 or 160.
Yeah. Renteria tonight.
I believe it was 116.
Doubled and has an infield hit, so he's 2 for 2. Pitch that was up and fouled back. Oh, 0-2 the count on Renteria.
They win 116, then lost the first round.
Yeah, it was 116 wins, Dan.
Thanks.
That's taken low. Florida beat the Cubs today 13-3. Yankees over Toronto. CC Sabathia picks up his 13th win. Angels beat Oakland 4-2. Boston against Tampa Bay, winner 9-5. White Sox blank Detroit 5-0. Mets over Phillies 11-2. And that's all the finals right now in baseball. Renteria reaching for it. And the catch made by Jay, fires into second, and it's a double play. It's a double play. Stubbs being booed here at home. Just a little fly ball off the end of the bat, and Drew Stubbs doubled up out at second base. Our Budweiser What's on Tap, it's Homer Bailey and Jaime Garcia. Garcia, the 6'2 lefty, looking for win number 10 tomorrow. The top 15 of ERA. And we'll see Jaime tomorrow. Let's see if he can't get a win on the road. For whatever reason, he has struggled away from Busch Stadium, but has been spectacular at home. It's Berkman, Freese, and Molina here in the top of the 6th. Berkman is lined out and also singled. First pitch is pop foul and out of play. Al Rabosky, Dan McLaughlin, Jim Hayes with you from the Great American Ballpark here in Cincinnati.
How about that double play, though? How big was that? A couple base running mistakes.
What makes that so big is that you've got the tying run, then coming to the plate, and Joey Votto.
Exactly.
An RBI machine. So Stubbs, who wants to play every day, has been splitting with Heisey. Doesn't help his own cause there. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Again, we see a lot of guys, though, you know, they get very tentative. They try not to make mistakes. When you're afraid to make a mistake, you know, you're going to make a whole bunch of them. But sometimes you got to play under control too.
Here's the windup, and you see finally Stubbs is ready to go. So many times you don't want to see a mistake like that taken back out in the field defensively.
I had a great conversation with Brett Butler years ago. Great little leadoff hitter, and he would watch a third baseman, and if a third baseman had a tough at bat or made a real mental mistake, he'd drop down a bunt on him the next time.
Let's hit out of play by Berkman. Cardinals trying to pick up a win in the series here in game number 2. Then you have Garcia tomorrow. Off day on Monday, then we'll be in New York. Next weekend in Pittsburgh. Right down the middle, Berkman looks at strike 3. 4 strikeouts tonight for Bronson Arroyo. He's allowed 6 base hits, and he's walked 2. In steps David Freese. He's bounced into a fielder's choice, and he also walked. Cardinals have the lead thanks to Albert Pujols, a 3-run homer last inning. Pujols number 20, RBIs 53, 54, and 55. I think it's safe to say Albert is starting to get locked in again.
You know, 20 home runs and a little bit beyond the midway point, so getting back to 30 and above seems very easy for Albert. So we got to get 100 RBIs, pick up that pace a little bit, and you know it's only a matter of time before he'll be hitting 300. Typical year.
0-2 pitch to Freese. Waved at it. Strikeout number 5. 2 in the inning for Arroyo. Talked about taking your defense to the outfield as Stubbs getting ready to make a play, and some guys walk into a pitch. Most infielders do.
Yeah, not exactly the sprinter stance that you want to either come in or left or right or be able to go back on a ball.
Molina, ground ball to short. Renteria takes his time, makes the play. Cardinals go 1, 2, 3. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce coming up. Baseball tonight from Cincinnati is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And for a limited time, Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Chris Carpenter here in the bottom of the 6th with a 3-1 lead. And a ground ball that's pulled foul. Big inning here for Chris Carpenter with the big three coming up. Votto, Phillips, Bruce. Votto on the night has walked. He's also picked up an RBI base hit to left. There's a tight breaking ball. He's been going to that much more tonight than we've seen.
It's a good curveball right there. Only 68 pitches thrown. Mixing things around. Doing a real good job. Particularly with.
There's the curveball again. Fly ball to left, and Holiday makes the catch.
Kind of dissect this lineup. He's had a little trouble with the first three in the order, but other than that, he's sailed through.
Build-A-Bear Workshop Day at Busch Stadium. Cards and Rockies Sunday, August 14th. 12,000 fans ages 15 and under receive a bear honoring Stan the Man. That's always a very popular afternoon. Kids can run the bases after the game as well. And it's a family Sunday. It means with the purchase of a terrace level ticket, free hot dog and soda that Sunday, August 14th. Tickets available right now at Cardinals.com. Here's Phillips. Doesn't chase that breaking ball. You can see that, you know, he has not stayed back on that at times. He's been guessing here tonight, talking about Phillips. Struck out back in the first and reached on an error by Carpenter in the third. There's a catch by Schumacher. And a line out by Phillips.
Nose count too, don't they?
Oh yeah.
I don't like to see them when they hit a ball right on the nose, but it's right at someone. A little swing, a line drive right to Schumacher. 2 outs.
So here is Bruce. Grounded out to first and also grounded into a double play. The Reds have hit into 2 double plays this far tonight. On deck, Scott Rowland. Curveball, strike 1. If the Cardinals hold on, they'll pick up win number 50 tonight. Carpenter would go to 5-7 if he would get the win. He's come a long way to get to that 5th victory. Cincinnati trying to get back to 500. There's that curveball again, and another outstanding curveball by Carpenter.
The curveball, didn't want it. The cutter, didn't want that. Fastball in. Made sure he got it in far enough.
Well, this guy, you better do it. He gets his arms extended. Tremendous power. Bruce with 21 home runs.
Fastball away.
Goes the other way with it for a base hit with 2 outs. Now Scott Rowland, who is flied out to deep center and grounded out to third as we get a look at the last pitch, and Bruce taking it the opposite way.
I got up a little bit too much. Good piece of hitting. Could have lined it right to him also.
Scott Rowland nearly gave the Reds an early lead with a long fly ball into center field that was caught at the wall by John Jay. This season only 5 home runs for Scotty.
Trouble with that shoulder again.
It's played in 63 games. One 0 pitch. There's that cutter, and there's where you're talking about an uncomfortable swing with Scott Rowland.
It's almost like he can't hold that left shoulder on the bat. Watch the left arm goes through and just pulls right off.
1 ball, 1 strike. Beautiful curveball by Carpenter. 1-2.
I almost said from the get-go that he had a much better curveball, but you can tell right now he's really found that release point, how he can really change speeds on it, and how he can just kind of lollipop it up there, or he can bury it. Didn't want the curveball, fastball in.
1-2 pitch. Got him. Tied him up. Rolen strikes out. And Carpenter with his 5th strikeout tonight. We head to the 7th. Fox Sports Midwest invites our young hockey fans to the St. Louis Blues Youth Hockey Camp July 25th at the Ice Zone at St. Louis Mills. Players will be there, former players and coaches. Find out more at stlouisblues.com. Many of the Cardinals have become big Blues fans. One of those is Kyle Loesch, and I know probably the biggest is pitching for the Cardinals and digging in right now, and that's former defenseman up in New Hampshire, Chris Carpenter. Loves going to the Blues games. Carpenter again hits it into the outfield, right center, and the catch made by Drew Stubbs. Carpenter is 1 for 3, highest batting average with that double tonight. He's at 143. 143 for Chris Carpenter. These guys are awfully competitive when it comes to swinging the bat, in addition to winning games, but the fun part is swinging the bat.
Good, fun, friendly competition. You know, challenge each other, but the hitting takes on a new aspect of it.
And so does golf.
And so does golf.
There's a ball to Schumacher, 9th place hitter. He is 0 for 2. He's struck out. He is grounded out. And we thought that these two starters would go deep in the ball game tonight. That certainly looks like it'll be the case as Schumacher drops in a base hit. 1-out hit out to left. Cardinals about hit the Cincinnati Reds 6-5 in this game. Here's the top of the lineup, and Descalso. He's popped out to third. He's flied out to left, and he has singled. That single was to the left side, and in this particular spot, Scott Rolen has to play in, so a hitting lane to that left side.
Scotty with that great range over third base and tremendous throwing arm. It's still a challenge to hit it by him.
Another check on Skip Schumacher. It's a huge crowd again tonight. Very close to a sellout, it looks like.
Andrusek warming up in the Reds bullpen.
Logan Andrusek, big right-hander.
And Bray, a lefty, just followed.
We have Jay on deck. So Bill Bray, the lefty, Logan Andrusek, the righty, getting loose in the bullpen for Cincinnati. Saw Bray and Andrusek last night. Dusty Baker not shy about using guys over and over and over.
Man, Scout Dream game last night.
See everybody.
Saw everybody.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Backdoor the breaking ball. Lefty gives up on it, and then it breaks to the outside corner for a strike. Didn't get the call.
Arroyo leads the Reds in innings pitched. This outing here tonight, he's now over 115. Another check on Skip. The 20th home run for Albert Pujols this evening. The difference possibly in this game before it's all said and done. 379 feet, and it was on a line. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Runner goes, chop to second. Phillips, nice play.
Wasn't that easy, was it?
Nope. Charging and getting it on that short hop. Descalso retired. There's 2 away. And here is John Jay. Now, is this where Dusty will go to his bullpen and bring in the lefty to face Jay?
Chopped down on this ball, and Phillips got to come in here, get that short hop. A little flip to his first baseman, but Schumacher in scoring position.
Chris Spire at the top step of the dugout for the Reds. He situates their team defensively. His son, an outstanding player, his own right. Justin, the Cubs selection, late round, 55th round selection, and came up in '98. Spent a number of years in the big leagues.
Spire originally came up with it.
This is hammered down the right field line, but fouled.
Came up with the Giants, but played with him in St. Louis briefly too.
Second round pick by the Giants, 1970. 19-year major league career for Chris Spire.
Great story where Bob Gibson's on the mound, and he had hit their catcher in the head. It was an accident, Dan, an accident. You know, but asked him something about the family the year he got a divorce. And so when
what are you talking about?
Bob hit this catcher in the head, and Spire was yelling and screaming at him, and Torrey was playing first. Gibby called over Torrey, said, "Who's that screaming at me? I don't have my glasses." He said, "It was Spire." He said, "Okay, I'll take care of it."
I'm sure he did. Here's a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Schumacher being waved in. He will score, and it's now 4-1 St. Louis.
Like the story better now?
I do. I like the score too. And again, I'm sure Dusty Baker, if you have the lefty getting up and throwing, may be asked why he doesn't use him to face Jay. And Dusty Baker now making the long walk out to the mound. Skip Schumacher rounding third, and he's safe at home, safe and secure. New York life. Pitch count is at 97 for Arroyo. And for a guy like Arroyo, that really doesn't mean all that much, but that's going to be it. They've knocked him out. And Albert Pujols will dig in when we come back. He's already homered here this evening. It's 4-1. Next time you want to catch a Cardinals game, head to StubHub. You'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you'd like to sit. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. Logan Ondrusek in our Chevy call to the bullpen comes in for Dusty Baker's club. And Ondrusek, along with a couple other guys out there, are favorites of Dusty Baker. This will be his 46th appearance, which is second most on the team, only behind Bray, who's at 47.
He didn't allow a run in any of his last 7 appearances. Did pitch in last night's ball game. Dusty's caught rock in a hard spot. You know, you either take him out to bring in the right-hander. Tony could counter and use a right-hander off the bench. He's trying to keep Arroyo in the ball game to get a win.
Earlier tonight, Albert Pujols, if you're just joining us, his 20th home run of the year. Hyundai Foxmo, and Pujols was also struck out and grounded into a double play, but it was a 3-run shot. Now it's 4-1. Off the end of the bat. Look at all the English on that baseball. Ondrusek with 2 hands wisely makes the play. Cardinals strand a runner, but John Jay has advanced this lead. It's 4-1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. First pitch by Carpenter to start the bottom of the 7th is taken for a ball, blown away. Chris Heisey, then Hannigan, and Andrusic's spot is due up third. Chopper to short. Descalso spins, throws, nice play.
That's a nice play right there. Really get on his horse, go to his left, get to that ball, circled, and come up firing right over the top.
Final line on Bronson Arroyo tonight is you get a look at Heisey and the range here by Descalso. Arroyo 6 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, all were earned. Walked 2, struck out 5, and gave up the home run to Pujols. That's a very tough play, moving to your left, spinning and throwing all in one motion too.
And he made it look easy.
Here's Hannigan. He's 0 for 2, pair of ground outs. Cooled off just a bit here at the ballpark, and it's gotten dark very quickly.
Carpenter in the mental countdown. He's got 8 outs to go.
Base hit out to left. And Johnny Gomes will be the pinch hitter. So Andrusik came in to face Pujols, and he got him. 3rd of an inning, and here is Gomes, the pinch hitter. Johnny Gomes signed a minor league contract in 2009 after a handful of years with Tampa Bay. At 266 last year, 18 home runs. He drove in 86.
Free spirit that Scott Rowland told me last year. He said, "He get under your skin a little bit, but he is all real. Nothing phony about him at all."
Takes a ball high. Sam LeCure, right-handed pitcher, getting loose. The bullpen for Cincinnati. Last pitch looked awfully good from Carpenter. Here's a 1-0. Cardinals have turned a pair of double plays tonight.
Didn't like that one. He's pretty much a dead red fastball hitter. He threw a fastball by him. Mike Winter's kind of been hearing it from both sides.
Breaks his bat. Pop up. This may drop. Pujols, foul territory, makes the catch.
You forgot who was over at first.
No, I didn't. I watched the wind.
What a nice play, though. Jam shot. Albert goes up, looking over the shoulder, and then he had just made the adjustment like you saw the wind, and look at him come back towards the infield, and makes it look really easy.
Here's Stubbs, leadoff man, who struck out, walked and scored, and has also doubled. Outfield is straight away for Drew Stubbs. Ground ball, right side, base hit. Tying run will come to the plate. Pitch that was up from Carpenter, and Stubbs on base for the 3rd time tonight. Pair of base hits and a walk, and Renteria will be the hitter. Renteria has doubled. He has an infield base hit lined into a double play back in the 5th, and this crowd trying to come alive.
You know, Renteria, one of Tony's favorites, the same as Carpenter.
See on the jersey of Carpenter all the sweat. You wonder how strong he feels right now. Popped up. Who wants it? Molina. He's got it. Red Strand 2. 4-1 as we head to the 8th. Take a look at our game recap presented by Sonic, and I know that Butch Lee, who's recovering back home in St. Louis, is going to like to see this. Albert Pujols with a 3-run homer back in the 5th inning. John Jay with an RBI, and Carpenter still in the game. 7 innings, 7 hits, and 1 earned run. So again, Butch Lee, get well. We'll see you at the ballpark soon. A new pitcher in for
Sam McClure.
The Reds, Sam McClure, the right-hander, and he'll take over. We saw Andrusic get Albert Pujols after 6 2/3 from Bronson Arroyo, and the cure comes in. And a guy that we've seen a time or two in this heated rivalry between these two teams. 2.72 ERA in his 19 games prior to tonight. Welcome to the game. You get Holiday, Berkman, and Freese.
His birthplace was Jefferson City, Missouri. Now resides in Austin, Texas. He's posted a 4.79 ERA in his 4 starts and a 0.81 ERA in his 15 relief appearances.
Holiday is grounded out to 3rd. He has walked and then was robbed at second base by Phillips in the 5th inning. He's due to go deep. And he takes a pitch high and outside. If you're wondering, Chris Carpenter is at 92 pitches. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Holiday. So for Carpenter and what we have seen here tonight and already this season with pitch counts, those really don't affect him. Matter of fact, that's not much work at 92. He's been going deep in ball games.
This is going to be not a wrong decision. You know, just several options for Tony.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. That pitch right there has been hit and miss with this strike zone tonight by Mike Winters. Carpenter will have Votto, Phillips, and Bruce coming up. You'll hear all about him on the Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live post-game show. Jim Hayes will take you inside the clubhouse. You'll hear from Tony La Russa and Chris Carpenter. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Holiday. Outfield is deep. We're starting the wave. This big crowd here at the Great American Ballpark on a Saturday night. Vicious cut again by Holiday. I mentioned how the Cure has been in their rotation at one point. Had issues with Mike Leake, some of the others that they were counting on this year. The Cure last year was 2-5 in 15 games for Cincinnati. Split time at AAA Louisville and Cincinnati. Was selected by the Reds in the 4th round in 2005. There's a slider to Holiday. He hung it but got away with it. Hit in the air to center field. And the catch made by Drew Stubbs. First out here in the 8th.
This evening's attendance,
40204. 40,204 here tonight, and it is a sellout. Back-to-back nights here in Cincy with a sold-out crowd.
How many times do you think during the course of a game a pitcher will throw a pitch and he cringes as he releases it, and then the guy pops it up or swings and misses?
Like we just saw.
Like you just saw.
Yeah.
And then there's other times you throw the pitch exactly where you want it. You got to give the hitter some credit.
Just tells you how hard it is at this level with the movement that these guys have. Just trying to center it up.
Sure.
It's tough to do. Berkman with a single, a line out, and was called out on strikes back in the 6th. Good rip. 0-2. Berkman, sometimes the hitter, shakes his head and he says, "That was my pitch." That may have been it for Lance Berkman.
I think they shake their head a little more times than they are justified. Just missed it. Yeah, went to second base.
The setup inside, going with the fastball, and Berkman does not go for it, and it's 1-2.
Looks like he wants fastball in.
So same pitch that he just saw. And up, and Berkman stays away again. 2-2.
Sinker.
And a strikeout of Berkman. Couldn't pull the trigger. It tailed back over the plate. And it's a rough night at the plate for Lance Berkman. See, it starts out, he gives up on it. Winds up being a strike on the inside portion of the plate. Pitcher's pitch, no doubt. David Freese is 0 for 2. A walk back in the 4th inning. He is struck out and also grounded out. Big gap in the left center. Most teams that we have seen, the advanced scouting is to play David Freese to the opposite field. Final game before the All-Star break, he hit a home run to the opposite field, which was his 4th of the season. He has walked tonight. See Stubbs in center, shading him just a bit into right field. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes with Molina on deck. Two and 0 the count. This big crowd, not much to cheer about tonight. Chris Carpenter has been fantastic. He's allowed 7 base hits and just 1 run, and that was back in the 3rd on an RBI single by Votto that made it 1-0. The Cardinals have come back with 4. 3-on-1 swing of the bat by Pujols if you just joined us, and that was in the 5th. Here's a 2-1 pitch upcoming to the Cardinal third baseman. Reaches for it, hits it into right. Bruce makes the catch. Big inning for Carpenter coming up. He's got Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope with Bank of America, member FDIC. And by AT&T. Fountain Square here in the Queen City of Cincinnati. Well, here we go, bottom of the 8th. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. Joey Votto, the reigning MVP for the Cincinnati Reds tonight with a walk back in the first, was left stranded. RBI single to left field in the third inning, and he also flied out to left.
Leading off for the 3-run lead.
And the first pitch, a strike. Carpenter still under 100 pitches this evening.
Like another strike. There's 2 sides of the plate.
And that is a strike.
So we got a little zip on it. Cutter.
And a 1-2 pitch. Should not be surprised to see Carpenter going deep into games. 17 of his 19 starts this year have been 6 innings or more. 10 have lasted 7.
Cutter.
And the 2-2. Descalso can't come up with it. An error. The second error by the Cardinals tonight. Good movement on this pitch. Joey Votto able to put it in play. Hit it up the middle. Descalso looked like he wanted to spin and throw like he did earlier. So he just reaching for that late movement, and Votto is able to get on base because of that error by Descalso. The other error was Chris Carpenter earlier tonight, and it brings in Phillips, who reached on that error.
Good example right there when they say an out's an out. No, it's not. You put a ball in play, good things can happen. Defensive swing. Like you might have, Descalso might have overran the ball a little bit, hit him on the heel.
Carpenter below his average, 98 tonight, and that average is the 3rd highest in the National League. He's had 4 runs of support, and that's something he normally doesn't get. Phillips pops it up, and that'll get to the fans to the right of the dugout for the Cincinnati Reds. Here comes the crowd again. Couple of guys just starting to stretch down in the Cardinal bullpen, but nobody throwing. Breaking ball lifted into shallow right center field. Berkman makes the catch. Brings in Jay Bruce. Chris Carpenter in his career against the Cincinnati Reds, 13-4. 2.29 ERA. 21 starts. He has struck out 140. That includes what he's done tonight, which is 5 strikeouts.
So what have you done for me lately? Bruce can't beat you.
On deck, Scott Rowland. Bruce is grounded out twice. He is also singled. That was in the 6th inning. And an 0-1 pitch. Inning started with an error by Descalso. Phillips with the fly out into shallow right. And now Jay Bruce.
Carp's in great shape, and big man that perspires profusely. Sometimes you can watch and see if he starts getting underneath the ball. Legs start growing a little heavy, go a little weak, and then all of a sudden you're dropping your elbow and you're kind of pushing uphill. I want the curveball back to the cutter.
And a 1-2 pitch. Foul ball off the foot of Jay Bruce. 1-2. In on his hands, and a great pitch by Chris Carpenter.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Cutter.
Ooh, just missed down and in. Two balls and 2 strikes here on Jay Bruce. Cardinals with a 4-1 lead. In the bottom of the 8th with 1 out and a runner at first. Cardinals turn 3 double plays tonight.
Fastball in.
He does, and it's a strikeout. No argument from Jay Bruce. 6 strikeouts for Carpenter. This is how you pick up your teammates following the error by Descalso. He gets Phillips in the fly out, strikeout of Bruce, and in steps Scott Rowland. That is a pitch right there that Carpenter against lefties over the years has been so good. Those lefties give up on that pitch and it cuts back over the plate.
So see the reaction from Carpenter is in that middle countdown.
So here's Rowland. Fly to deep center, grounded out to third, and also struck out swinging. It's been that pitch we've seen Scott Rowland wave at tonight. 6 strikeouts tonight. This will be pitch number 108 coming up. One ball, 1 strike. Last night, Scott Rowland with his 500th career double. Trying to go inside on Rowland. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jason Mott, hard throwing right-hander for St. Louis, getting loose, and it was Rowland who was at the plate last night with the bases loaded. Mott on the mound and hit it back to Jason, who turned in a 1-2-3 double play. One of the key plays in the ball game for the Redbirds, but all for naught. 1-2. What does Carpenter want to do here with Yadier Molina?
Curveball.
To third, that's Nick Puto, and he launches it over the head of Albert Pujols, and the tying run will come to the plate. The 3rd error by the Cardinals tonight, the 2nd in this inning.
Puto just came in for
Just did not look
defense.
comfortable at all with this throw.
Look at this. He's has some trouble with that shoulder. It's just really not functioning right. So primarily he's been playing second base. But here he tries to get on top of it. Look at that throw. He can't get on top of it and just airmails it. A very important visit right here from Duncan. This is just so totally to vote of confidence for Carpenter. Just calm things down. Come on, big guy, we got you.
Now Heisey, who homered twice last night, and here comes the crowd again. Heisey has grounded a short twice, and he's also walked. He represents the tying run here in the bottom of the 8th.
Last year may decide whether Carpenter gets a chance to complete this game or not.
2-0. Hannigan is on deck. First base is open. He may be pitching around on Heisey, to get to Hannigan. A 3-0 pitch. 3-1.
I think he's just going after him. Just a little out of whack, trying to get regrouped.
Pitch count at 1-14 for Carpenter. Two. We've seen when Chris Carpenter has his emotions on display. We'll see some incredible emotion, I'm sure, from Carpenter if he can get this final out here in the 8th. He's 1 pitch away. He's trying to pitch around 2 errors in this inning.
And because of those errors, you almost spent all your energy left to get through this inning.
A 3-2 pitch. Check swing, and he got him. Strikeout for Carpenter. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 7 in the ball game tonight for the big right-hander. The reaction of Chris Carpenter, let's take a look.
Cardinals as we go to the 9th in Cincinnati. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris with Cal Eldred. They are back in the studio. Carp carves him up. Pujols power on display once again. And Tony La Russa's post-game thoughts as well. Yadier Molina leads it off for the Cards. We go back to the booth, and Dan and Al, guys.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Good job as always here tonight. And Molina leads it off as we head to the 9th inning. Broken bat, slowly hit to short. Renteria there. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Chris Carpenter getting a strikeout here on a pitch that's a foot outside. Saw the emotion as we went to break, and for Carpenter, 2 strikeouts in the inning. And now moving up the list, the all-time strikeout list in St. Louis Cardinals history. Up next, Matt Morris. The question now becomes, will he get that in this ball game? And the answer is no. As you see that Forsch, Dean, and Gibson.
You just had the feeling because of those errors, the extra pitches, that high drama to get that strikeout with tying run at the plate, that he was going to be spent. So the right move to bring in Kobe and hopefully get a little insurance.
So Rasmus pinch hitting. Carpenter has a chance to pick up the win. And if he does, it'll be win number 5.
What a great job he did tonight.
So here's Colby, who started game 1 of this series. And also the byproduct of those errors, the fact that the Cardinals now will go to their bullpen and get Salas right back out there after blowing the save last night. Just his 3rd blown save this year. Colby 0 for 4 in this series. The 2-0 pitch. Second inning of work for Sam LeCure. When Carpenter's pitching like this, he is so much fun to watch.
No doubt about it. Great competitor.
Throwback in many ways. And it's a 1-out walk. In steps Schumacher. So Carpenter allows 7 hits. And he strikes out 7, gives up 1 run. That was the RBI in the 3rd by Joey Votto. One of the real key plays in this game was in that 3rd inning. After his error, Carpenter's error, Jay Bruce bouncing into a double play that ended an inning with the bases loaded. They've had a couple of base running mistakes. Have the Cincinnati Reds, and Dusty Baker is going to pull off a double switch.
Freddie Lewis.
As we head to break, another look at Chris Carpenter. It's 4-1 St. Louis here in the ninth. Here's a look at Bill Bray. And already the 48th appearance for Bill this year. He leads the club in appearances. 2.10 ERA. Saw him pitch last night, and he'll get Skip Schumacher here. Fred Lewis, I believe, also entered the ball game as part of the double switch.
He's out in left field. Schumacher will be the first one to face this lefty. Come on, Bill Bray. And he's been charged with 7 runs, but 6 of those runs scored off the pitcher who relieved him.
Get Schumacher here, and then Descalso and Jay, so 3 lefties lined up. Ooh, he almost threw that away. Nice note here from Nick Anderson, wishing Al a get well soon. There's the 0-1 pitch to Schumacher. A strike. Oh, 2 the count on Skip. Singleton scored back in the 7th inning. Hit into a fielder's choice and struck out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Spoiled by Skip. Over 40,000 here tonight. The Great American Ballpark.
And crowds have been entertained the first 2 games.
Last night, a dramatic walk-off win. The home run by Brandon Phillips. Cardinals are 1 out away from taking game 1. Watch out. They're 3 outs away from winning game 2. Jared Weaver picks up another win, his 12th of the season. CC Sabathia with 14. Those 2 picking up wins. Bottom of the 8th, and the Pirates lead the Astros 4-3. We're checking on the Pirates scores now. Hey, that just makes it a fun race in the Central.
It does.
Be nice to see what kind of crowd we get next week in Pittsburgh. Weekend series against the Cards.
And the Cardinals have dominated Pittsburgh over the years, especially in that ballpark.
A 2-2 pitch. Schumacher, fly ball. Left center. Catch made by Stubbs.
And I think you and I both are going to look forward to some big crowds there and a great environment, and good baseball environment.
Looking ahead for the Cincinnati Reds, they have Hannigan, Lewis, and Stubbs due up. Up to Daniel Descalso to extend the inning. Ground ball to second. Phillips makes the play. Fernando Salas tries to finish off the Reds here in game 2 when we come back. Our Budweiser player of the game, no surprise here, Chris Carpenter, 8 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. It was earned back in the 3rd. He walked 3 and struck out 7. And 2 in his final inning of work. Here's Fernando Salas. Suffered his 3rd blown save of the season last night with a walk-off homer by their second baseman, Brandon Phillips. And Salas, for the most part, though, has been very effective in this 2011 campaign. It's our Chevy called to the pit.
He's been outstanding, Dan, and young pitchers with as much experience as he had, you'd be very concerned. You'd want to get him back out there as soon as possible, but you'd be very concerned with his mental makeup. But with Salas, I really am not concerned about it.
Well, the Cardinals with the defensive change, we saw that throw by Punto, so he's been lifted in the game. Descalso moves from short to third base, and Ryan Theriot takes over at short. Here's Ryan Hannigan, who's 1 for 3. First pitch is a strike. He's grounded out twice. He is also single. Hannigan, then Lewis, who is part of the double switch, and Stubbs. 1 ball, 1 strike. This should be the first out. 1 away. Fred Lewis, first plate appearance of the night. Talked about it a little bit last night. His days in San Francisco, known quite well by Dusty Baker. He's with the Giants in 09, Toronto last year, in which he had 262, and platooning this year in left field out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
And an oblique muscle strain the first time we went through Cincinnati, but kind of see he's got a lot of confidence when he's playing for Dusty.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Make it 2-0. For the most part, an everyday player in 08. Missed part of 09. Last year, 110 games with Toronto. 2 balls and a strike.
In the last 20 games has hit .340 with 9 RBIs.
Three and 1 the count. Drew Stubbs on deck. Three and 2. He does not throw hard. Low 90s for Salas, but there is something about him. You see a lot of hitters swing and miss.
An excellent changeup. Kind of looks like a spike curve or knuckle curve, but people just don't stay on his pitches.
Rounder to first, backing up Pujols on the outfield grass to Salas for out number 2. Cardinals 1 out away from win number 50 this year. Pujols backing up on this play and leading Salas perfectly to first. 2 outs. And here's Stubbs. Final home for the Reds. Last inning, they had the tying run at the plate. Now down to their final out. Difference in this game, besides the pitching of Chris Carpenter, home run by Albert Pujols. His 20th of the season, a 3-run homer back in the 5th.
One more time, this ball club just keeps on giving you more and more. Can't beat them down.
Up the middle for a base hit. Nice night for Drew Stubbs. Back in the leadoff spot, on base for the 4th time, 3 hits and a walk. Here's Renteria. You've got Votto on deck, and you don't want to see that happen coming up.
No.
With a chance to tie it up.
This team will fight you all the way to the end. Tough losses, they can recover from them. Still, all the pressure's on Renteria and the Reds.
Two outs and a runner at first base. Stubbs extended the ball game with a single up the middle. Renteria tonight, an infield hit, a double, lined into a double play and popped out with 2 runners on. One 0 pitch. Cincinnati Reds with 25 games without back-to-back wins. 25.
It's almost possible, isn't it?
There's that changeup. 1-2 the count.
That's one of the reasons why you talk to Reds people around here. They say, you know, we can't really believe in this ball club yet because they can't have the back-to-back wins and string anything together.
Playing behind that runner, Stubbs at first base. The 1-2 pitch. Up and in, 2-2. Fielders indifference, so Stubbs is at second base. On 2-2, Renteria strikes out and the Cardinals win it. Win number 50 this year, and the Cardinals hold on 4-1.
Good bounce back, not only from Pujols and company, but a good one for Salas. It's an outstanding ball game. Now you got to win the series tomorrow.
Cardinals got on the board thanks to Albert Pujols back in the 5th. His 20th home run, now up to 55 RBIs. Chris Carpenter at times so emotional. This was the strikeout with the tying run at the plate in the 8th. hard fought from the opening pitch as John Jay took out Brandon Phillips. And a bounce back game for Fernando Salas. 4-1 the final. Post-game show is next.
Game is over with a 4-1 Cardinal victory over the rival Reds. And Cal Elder and I are ready to break it down on Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Cal, great bounce back for this team.
And we got the start from Chris Carpenter, the ace that we thought we needed. He gave it to him, and now win the series tomorrow, as Al said at the end of the program.
Certainly have a shot now that you won tonight. More from Cal coming up. Plus, Brandon Phillips played that role of villain last night to perfection and spoiled the Cardinals' second-half opener. But the Cards are able to turn the page against Bronson Arroyo and take Game 2 from those rival Reds. Plus, Chris Carpenter looking to build off his strong finish to the first half and wins his 4th straight decision. Cal will break down his night. We'll take you back to Cincy for player reaction. Tony La Russa's post-game thoughts as well. Happy International Juggling Day. Cal, put down those knives. I don't trust you. Maybe these chainsaws will work. Quality entertainment coming up on Cardinals Live.
Welcome to Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live.
Pujols rips it out to deep left field. It is gone! Line drive, home run! 3-run shot for Pujols.
Hope those fans ducked in the left field seats there. Albert Pujols with a laser beam.
That was a bullet coming in there. Look out.
Makes it a 3-1 game at the time. They add on one more and win 4-1. Let's get back to Cincinnati. Jim Hayes standing by with Albert Pujols, our Mid-America Chevrolet Dealers player of the game. Pat?
Albert Pujols, a 3-run homer to power the Cardinals in this one, 20th of the season, second in as many nights. And Albert Arroyo was pitching a very good game when you went down and got a pitch, a screaming laser beam that left the yard quickly.
Yeah, definitely. He's always tough. You know, I mean, he knows how to pitch. I mean, he's been doing it for a while, and he's been tough against us. He threw a great game last time in St. Louis, and then tonight we've had a little bit more of a game plan. And you know, John Jay had some big hits, you know, to keep the inning alive and give me an opportunity. He had a great at bat to give me an opportunity, you know, to get us on the board.
Carpenter was outstanding tonight, too. Had to pitch around some things and did just that.
Well, I think, you know, Carp is Carp. I mean, he knows when he gets in trouble, he has to make a pitch, and he's so competitive out there, and he's going to give everything he has to help us out to win. So, you know, our job is hopefully to score some run so we can get a win at the end of the night.
As good as the reserves have been for you guys, do you get a little extra boost in confidence in terms of being healthy right now? You guys have most of the players available that you planned on having at the start of the season.
Well, I think, you know, if we would have a magic ball and know when we're going to get hurt, you know, I think we avoid that. But this is tough. It's a long season, you know, and obviously you work hard to hopefully stay healthy all year. But, you know, our first hit was in spring training, you know, with Adam, and we keep fighting. I mean, myself and you know, Matt, you know, after opening day, it's just tough. You know, it's been a tough year, but we've been fighting, you know, and stay positive. And you know, I think, you know, our MVPs this year had to be our bench. You know, those guys have been doing an unbelievable job. I'm talking about Alan Craig, you know, the Carso, John Jay. I mean, when those guys getting an opportunity, I mean, Hamilton too, they come through for us to win some big games, you know, and it's not about one player, one pitcher. It's about, you know, a group, and we have a pretty good group of guys, and, you know, they're waiting for an opportunity so they can take advantage.
Good job. Thanks for the time.
All right, buddy.
All right, Albert Pujols, guys, we send it back to you.
Jim, thanks very much. Thanks to Albert as well. We welcome you officially inside our Fox Sports Midwest studio in St. Louis. It's the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, alongside the best right-handed pitcher on our Fox Sports Midwest staff, Cal Eldred. I'm Pat Perez. Coming up, we'll take you back to the Queen City for Tony La Russa's thoughts on tonight's win. Cal's going to tell us why Chris Carpenter was able to get his 4th consecutive decision, and we'll start with a little bit more on Albert Pujols. This is a guy that you, I don't know how much of a limb you went on, but a little bit of a limb you went on yesterday, talking about what the Cardinals need to have happen in the second half of the season, and you said Albert's got to be that 30 home run, 100 RBI, 300 hitter at the end of the season. Well, he's slowly creeping up on the batting average, but he's getting there in the power numbers.
In the power numbers, we may be a little more surprised about that, because since the end of May, he's been hitting 320, 321, and that's what he needs to do the rest of the season to get to that 300 mark. Is he concerned about this? Not at all. Is he concerned about those power numbers? Not at all, but he wants to drive in runs. That's what he wants to do for this ball club. Albert's continuing to do it and doing it at big times in the ball game, too.
Absolutely. Give them the lead that they never look back. Did it last night, too.
Yes.
It's just unfortunate the bullpen wasn't able to hold on. They were able to do that with Chris Carpenter's terrific outing tonight. A lot to get to during Cardinals Live, but we want to remind you that the tweet is on. If you want to send us some Cardinal questions or comments, at FS Midwest is where you need to tweet at us, and we will get to those a little later on in this show. Now, before we jump into the highlights, let's flash back to July 5th of 2009. Believe it or not, Cal, this is the only time Chris Carpenter and Bronson Arroyo ever faced off against each other until tonight. Carp tosses 7 strong innings, allows just 1 run while striking out 5 Reds. Arroyo doesn't have much success as he surrenders 8 runs in just 5 innings of work, 2 of the runs coming on a Colby Rasmus home run. And so that's the backdrop for the only time. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, and it is hard to believe because both these guys throw so much and have thrown so many games and go deep into ball games, too.
And then tonight, it's Chris Carpenter striking out Brandon Phillips, last night's hero in the first inning. 980th strikeout as a Cardinal, 5th most in franchise history. Bottom third, Edgar Renteria facing Carp. It's a slow roller to third. David Freese kind of loses the grip on this, has a double pump, and, well, the boys in blue blew the call here.
Yeah, this one right here, the umpire is going to anticipate Edgar hitting the bag at a certain point, but he stutter steps right there at the last second. The umpire is calling him safe because he thought he was going to get there.
The Joey Votto takes advantage of the wrong call, and this base hit brings home the speedy Drew Stubbs. 1-0 Cincinnati. The blown call does end up hurting Carp. That was his only run that he gives up on the night. Next inning, the Cards benefit from Reds base running mistake. Ryan Hannigan grounds out, slow to third. Chris Heisey gets caught between second and third. Albert Pujols is the one that makes this play.
Give him a lot of credit because he's heads up. Even though he's catching the ball, the runner at second is right in front of him, and he makes a nice throw over to Descalzo to get the runner.
And the heads up play, and then you come up the next inning, what happens?
How many times do you see it, Pat?
All the time. A laser beam. You don't see that as much in that ballpark. 20th of the year for Pujols. 3rd in 4 games for Albert as the home run stroke is back, and he's just hitting line drives. They just go out of the park.
It is line drives, and he could have had one in the first inning the other day, but not quite enough.
Bottom of the inning now, the Reds run themselves out another inning. How about the double play? This is a great heads-up play by John Jay starting in center tonight.
John Jay, I think, right off the bat, knew he was going to catch him, so he kind of delayed his way in to catch the ball, knew he was going to second the whole time. 7th
inning, Cards add some insurance. John Jay. Somebody said he was their pick to click.
Pat Pear's pick to click. John Jay.
3 hits on the night, and that big RBI, 23rd RBI for Jay, extends it to 4-1. Bottom 7, Carpenter jam here with 2 runners on, gets Edgar Renteria to pop out to Yadier Molina. That ends it. Huge out for Carp with the big bats due up next in the lineup. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and speaking of those big bats, another jam, 2 on, 2 outs, but Carpenter gets Heisey, and yes, sir, that's a swing, and that's a strikeout on a curveball.
That's that nasty breaker that we'll talk about later in the show.
Certainly will, but 4-1 is the final as Chris Carpenter pitches another gem against these Reds. He goes 8 strong innings, scatters 7 hits, and a lot of those hits coming because there were some errors behind him. Now, one was his own, but 3 errors in total. There was some questionable strike zone calls. There were certainly some questionable calls that did not go the Cardinals' way on the base paths. But all in all, you ask your ace to go out there and give that bullpen a break. They used every member of that bullpen last night. It would have been nice for him to get to the 7th inning. Well, he gets to the 8th inning, and really all you need is Salas in the 9th.
Well, he gets to Salas in the 9th because Chris Carpenter pitched so well, and he will probably say in his post-game comments that, yeah, the only run that scored was the guy he walked. He will mention that because he's a perfectionist. The other thing is Tony La Russa also mentioned before the ball game that he thought it was important that he got all those bullpen guys in the game. Not that he had to, but that it was okay to do that in the first ball game. There's an off day Monday. These guys have had 4 or 5 days where they haven't thrown. Get that rust off, and we saw Fernando Salas get the rust off yesterday, and it paid off today with another save.
We'll talk a lot more about Chris Carpenter on the mound later on here on Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Let's talk about that 5th inning that began with a Chris Carpenter double. To that point, the only extra base hit the Cards had gotten off of Bronson Arroyo.
And the last time he faced Bronson Arroyo, we saw a single up the middle. This time with the double in the 5th inning. He starts off, we kind of saw this coming. This is an 0-2 pitch. Pitchers at home, that's not a good 0-2 pitch. Right down the middle, especially to a pitcher. You cannot do that. You cannot allow that. But give Carp a lot of credit. The next situation with Skip Schumacher. Hit the ball to the right side, get the runner over to third, but, oh, wait a minute, it's Carp running. Give Brandon Phillips a lot of credit.
Yep.
Very nice play throwing that ball and getting Carp trying to advance.
And then you have the fly out to left by Descalzo, and that is 2 outs now in the inning. And then the single by John Jay. And we talked about this. When and when do you not lay down a bunt for a base hit with 2 outs?
In this situation, it's going to bring Albert Pujols to the plate. John Jay's just looking for a bunt single so that Albert can come to the plate. He gets it, and then he hits a P-Rod off of somebody's hand, I believe.
Yeah, somebody's still stinging out there. They got a sore hand. They didn't even get the ball. Then a great play by Brandon Phillips again. Listen, we definitely have some issues with some of the things Brandon Phillips says, the way he acts from time to time, but nobody disputes what a great athlete he is, what a great second baseman he is. He turned in a very fine play there. The point in that inning, though, of what we saw was you do the small things to try to get guys in scoring position, and John Jay knew the situation, and he even stayed at first base, which was key in a lot of ways, because if he tries to go to second, let's say he makes it to second, they're just going to walk Albert.
They're going to walk Albert, and yes, go ahead. Pitch to Matt Holliday with the bases loaded, which was someone else's pick to click. He didn't click so much, partly because of Brandon Phillips making a nice play. But give John Jay a lot of credit. Give Mark McGwire a lot of credit, because he tells these guys, do whatever you need to do to roll over that lineup and give that middle of that lineup as many at-bats as possible during one ball game.
So it was John Jay that sets up first and third with the 2 outs, and it sets up our Don Brown deal of the game. We're going to look at the pitch-by-pitch, Arroyo versus Pujols, and we know what the result was.
Well, we're going to see 3 pitches, and the key to what I've been told as a pitcher, pitchers coach told me, don't throw 3 pitches of the same speed in the same location or in the same location. You see a strike right there at 87 miles an hour. He throws a ball away. Now that's the second pitch. There's a third pitch in the same location, 82. You're within 5 miles an hour in the same location, and Albert is not going to let that ball pass. He would have hit that ball. If that ball was 87, he hits it out of center field. 82, he pulls it to left, and that's all the velocity that Arroyo has. So give Albert credit. He put the barrel of the bat on it and drove that.
And look what he's done the last 4 games. So the 2 games before the All-Star break, these 2 games after, Albert Pujols is locked and loaded. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, scored 5 runs, slugging over 1,000. His on base is 500. Yeah, he's back.
And he's going to keep this up. That on-base percentage is going to mean a lot of RBIs for 2 guys named Holliday and Berkman down the road.
Certainly are, and it's what this offense has been lacking, and it's the consistency that only Albert Pujols can bring you. Not that we want to take anything away from Matt Holliday.
Right.
Certainly he is an MVP candidate in his own right. Lance Berkman's having a bounce-back year like we've not seen in a long time. But it's the consistency that he brings that will now allow those guys to flourish, including whoever hits in the 2-hole and whoever hits behind Holliday and Berkman.
Well, and what we did see tonight, we did see the line drive that Holliday hit that Brandon Phillips makes a wonderful play on and throws him out at first base. There was also later in the ball game where Lance Berkman hits a bolt right at Brandon Phillips also. So these guys, if 1 out of the 3 times they come to the plate, they hit the ball like this, they're going to do a lot of damage. Not to mention you got Molina and Freese hitting behind Berkman and Holliday.
Apparently the news of my pick to click has reached Cincinnati, and
yes,
Jim Hayes has gone in and they efforted and got the reaction from John Jay. Tonight's 3-hit effort. We'll have that, and Chris Carpenter will break him down more next.